got a special guest today, man. Real important guy. One, to me, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Two, little mentor on the stock tip, man. This dude know what he's talking about. Mr. Deshaun Outlaw. I know you see his shirt. It's not because he's a criminal. He'll tell you all about what that means later on. But I'm going to kick it over to him, man. He's a serial investor. He has precious metals, stocks, crypto, real estate. I mean, he quit a great job. He could have got a pension, but he bet on himself, and he's making it happen. So here he is.
Yeah, man, I did leave my state job. I was a CEO for 5 years, walked away from a pension because I discovered that there was another way, right? So I got introduced to the stock market by a dude by the name of Wall Street Trapper. Shout out to my mentor. And he taught me that the stock market was the greatest wealth machine in the world. The whole world, other countries runs on the stock market. It never sleeps. What I learned from him was you can't outwork your money working on the stock market. You make money on the stock market through compound interest. So Albert Einstein has a saying, compound interest is the seventh wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it.
Write that down.
For instance,
compound interest.
Seventh wonder of the world.
Right.
Think about it on your credit card, right? We got all these APRs. We try to figure out why we can never pay the balances off, right? That's just 15%. Imagine if you had your money in the stock market running away from you, your equity going up at 15% a year.
Right. That makes a whole lot of sense when you put it like that. In layman's terms, man, you're going to be predator or you're going to be prey, man. You're going to make your money work for you or you're going to continue to work for your money. You trade time for money. What our goal is to do is, I mean, at some point, everybody's family or, you know, your parents, you see them trade time for money. What we want to do is give you a vessel where you could turn your money that you just spent a lot of time getting and make that work for you so you could gain time, if that makes sense.
Check this out. There's nothing wrong with having a job. I still currently have a job. Soon I'm going to fire it. But when we get a job, we need to leverage the money from our paycheck. So instead of getting our paycheck, then going out to the store and buying liabilities, we need to get our paycheck, get assets that grow in value and pay us. Right?
Whoa, hold on. We moving too fast right here. We just, look, he about to give us all of the bells and whistles right now. We're going to start off. Get your notebooks, get your pens, get your pads. He's about to get busy with this. Before it go over your head and you get intimidated as to how the stock market is, it's not, man. He's going to break it down so you can understand it. If you hear a vocabulary word, write it down, look it up. We're not going to give you all the answers. We'll throw you a bone so you can figure it out yourself. But at the end of the day, every piece of information that you do need to be successful in the game will be given to you, not in full description, because you got to do your own work too. This man put in a lot of time, energy, and money to gain the information that we're giving out today. You know what I'm saying? He didn't become Wall Street Trapper's book club lieutenant because he sat on the sideline and just listened to podcasts. No, he invested in classes. He bought this man's book. He supported his merch. He went to shows, you know what I'm saying, other states and cities where this man was going to be, just so he could rub elbows with these guys to get this information that he's now going to give to us, you know what I'm saying, for the discount, for the low. So get your notebooks and do all of that. We're going to take baby steps to get to the, what I like to say is we're going to take the stairs. This ain't going to be an elevator ride to the top. You got to take the stairs. You got to get it how you live. We're going to give you bits and pieces and you got to do the rest. But you know, just to start it off, man, for those who don't know, treat me like I'm a 3-year-old. What is the stock market?
So the stock market is a place where publicly traded companies go to get funding where we can buy ownership in them.
Right. So essentially what you're saying is if I eat McDonald's every day, why not try to buy a share of McDonald's so I could be an owner in this company?
Absolutely. So a stock or a share of a stock is a fraction of a piece of a company that entitles you to their assets and a portion of the profit.
Wow.
So, like you said, Nikes, right? I look around the room, we all got on Nikes.
Right.
It's cheaper to own the business than it is to buy the product. So when we buy the product, we go from consumer to producer and owner. So we like to flex saying, I got on the newest J's, I got on the newest Nikes. I like to flex and say, well, I own that company.
Thank you for your support.
Exactly. Owning that company also gives you voting rights. So there's a lot of controversy going on in the world. A lot of people are mad at different corporations. If we gain ownership in this company, we can make decisions. If we don't like the way a CEO is moving, which is the chief executive officer of a business, we tug on those board of directors' coattails. The more stock you own, the more weight your vote counts. Right. So when that proxy comes out each quarter, no, we're not going to vote that board of director on the seat. Get him out of here. If the CEO ain't doing what he's supposed to do, the board of directors can vote him out. Wow. These companies can't just do what they want to do. They do what the owners allow them to do.
Right. So the owners, meaning those who buy stock into the company. If I have 50 candy bars and I have a candy bar company and I'm saying, listen, we could break down these 50 candy bars and however we break it down, that's the total amount of my company. You want to buy as many little pieces, which are stocks, so you can have the most of those, and that's how you have the bigger say in what happens with the company. So at this point, just try to grab one or two. What I like to say is for every one pair of sneakers you're going to buy, or every 2 pair of sneakers, buy a stock. Or buy a stock and then 2 pair of sneakers. So essentially you're paying yourself back. It's not a lose.
I'll give you one better. My daughter, 9 years old. What I tell her is, for every liability you own, which at her age will be a toy, you need 2 assets to cover that. So in our community, we get money and go buy liabilities. In wealthy communities, they accumulate assets at a young age, so then they can borrow against them to then pay their liabilities. They're not coming out of pocket.
Right, that makes sense. I mean, we're gonna get into that because that's generational wealth. So really today's whole movement is towards generational wealth. We both have children, and what we're trying to do is do something now so our children don't have to work as hard later to be successful, healthy, wealthy, have time on their side to do what they want, to pursue their passion. At the end of the day, you bridging the gap between poor and wealthy, because nobody wants to be rich. We could be rich like this. You could buy the right stock and be rich. Wealthy is so it keeps on going.
Check this out. On the stock market, there are certain stocks that pay dividends. The dividend is a portion of the profit paid back to shareholders in cash. Quarterly, monthly, bi-yearly, even a weekly ETF that pays you every Friday. Wow. So check this out. If we start accumulating dividend paying stocks now, if your daughter, my daughter, your sons can get a big enough paycheck every quarter or month or week, they don't have to work for nobody. They can make the decision if they want a job. They can make the decision if they want to go to college. Right. Then they go from doing what they want to do instead of doing what they have to do. Right. See, a lot of us do what we have to do. I had my daughter when I was a freshman in college, 19 years old. Right. I had to work. So I invest now, so at 19, my daughter can decide if she wants to work or who she wants to work for.
Absolutely. So we're gonna move right along. This question comes from Kansas, man. Carl in Kansas says, "What are the different exchanges? So what is an exchange?"
An exchange is where stocks are bought and sold. An exchange, an example can be like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. This is the place where the traders are filling the orders. Okay. So in order to buy stock, you need a brokerage account, right? It could be Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, any of those accounts, right? Okay. When you submit an order to buy or sell a stock, that order electronically goes to an exchange, and the trader then processes that transaction.
But the app, to make it easier, when you do download Robinhood, whatever stock you're gonna buy, everything he just said, the app will do for you.
Yes.
So it's not like as hard as he's explaining it. He's just letting you know what's happening behind the scenes. You literally pick buy, sell, or trade, and the app will do everything he just said.
Yeah, I just want you to understand what you're doing when you do hit that buy button. There's somebody filling that order.
And then, so that brings us right to the next one. How do you buy and sell stocks? So that way someone knows, okay, if I want to buy stock in Disney, how do I buy it? How do I sell it when I don't want it no more, and then, or trade it?
So you go into your app, whatever your brokerage account is, and you submit an order. You type in a ticker. So a ticker is the nickname of the stock on the stock exchange. Write that down. So Disney's ticker is DIS. You would type that in the search bar at the top of your brokerage. It would show you the price. You hit buy. Then it's going to ask you to verify your password to make sure you want to buy it, how many you want to buy. You hit submit. That order then goes to the stock exchange floor and they fill that order. I'm going to give you a gem. When you're buying a stock, you can put in what's called a limit order. Say Disney is trading at $200. You want to buy it for $150. You can put in a limit order that says do not buy this stock until it gets to $150.
Is that one of these moments?
Absolutely. Write that down.
In this question right here, we're going to go right along because we ain't got a lot of data space. You know, this is our first little episode of Stock Talk. This question comes from Mr. Tracy Carter out of Philadelphia, man. Good dude. I think I know this guy. I actually do know this guy. What makes a good company, and what do you think makes a good investment into a good company?
So when I look for companies, I look at fundamentals. Those are the underlying financial data of a stock. So to be a publicly traded company, you have to report all your earnings, everything that you do, the money you make and the money you lose, even to your competitors. So what I look for as a good company is first, they gotta sell a good product. If nobody ain't buying it, we don't wanna own it. Then they gotta have good management, because you can have a good product, but you can have people messing up the money. So you want a company that's continuously growing their revenue while shrinking their expenses. So they're getting more efficient, right? You also want a company that can hold their own against competitors. This is what we call a moat. And I'm gonna give you a good example of one of the best moats out there. Write this down.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he told me about this earlier. Go ahead.
The company Apple, right? It's a bunch of iPhones in here, a bunch of MacBooks, a bunch of iPads, AirPods, everything Apple, right? They have a moat called a high cost switching moat. What that means is, I got an iPhone connected to my Apple Watch, connected to my AirPods. It would cost way too much money to go from Apple to Android. So once they get you in the network, you're stuck. That's what makes them competitive and keep their competitors away.
So their strategy is get you in their web so deep that it's almost too frustrating to get out, and they lock you in for the long term.
Not only do they have a high cost switching mode, they have a brand recognition mode. If you like, yo, what kind of phone you have? And I say, Android. It's almost like a class thing. You're looking at me sideways like, you got a green bubble?
I'm judging you a little bit.
Yeah, I need a blue bubble, right? Not only do they got a high cost switching mode, a brand recognition mode, they have a cash mode. Apple has the biggest war chest on the stock exchange. That means we just had a global pandemic, right? We're still in it. Stock markets went down. If they're hurting, they could tap into their cash and buy other companies. They got enough cash to buy 400 out of the 500 companies on the S&P 500 index.
Yeah, so they're the big dog, man. That's Big Hefe right there. What he's telling you is there's all these other little dudes on the corners, man. Hefe gonna come buy him out, man. You gotta come see him. That's the big dog in phones and technology. And you know, we knew this years ago, but Apple did a great job sustaining their product. You know, they let us down a couple times, but they always make up to us what they need to.
So Apple was the first $2 trillion company on the stock exchange. And I'm gonna explain that to you. I'm gonna break down market cap. So market cap is how financially we judge the size of a business, right? You have small cap, mid cap, and large cap. Those are three main sizes. you calculate the market cap by multiplying the current stock price by the number of outstanding shares. Definitely write that down. I'm gonna say it one more time. The current stock price multiplied by the number of outstanding shares. So those are shares that aren't owned by an institution or individuals as us, referred to as retail investors. So when I say retail investors, those are individuals, right? We don't move the market. Institutions move the market, like a Vanguard, a BlackRock, a Berkshire Hathaway, companies like that buy millions of shares, because stock prices only move on how people feel about the stock, right? So when people are buying the stock price is going up. When people are selling the stock price is going down.
Right.
Déjame